What's good, y'all, man? Hot take of the day via Adam Schefter. Now unanimously banned against the objections of the NFLPA. NFL owners vote to ban hip drop tackle. Let's get into it. Yeah, y'all. So off the rip, man, I don't like the rule. As it says here, owners vote to ban hip drop tackle. I don't like it. I don't. I'm all for the player safety. I'm all for players being protected and looking out for their best interests. But at the same time, this is another rule that favors the offense, man. So at the end of the day, what are we really doing here? You know what I'm saying? End of the day, you might as well just play flag football at this point. Like, what do you want a defender to do defensively? Now, we talked about the rules, and I'm going to go through some of them that just favors the offense. One sec. Now, the first rule, okay? Think about roughing the passer, right? That is such a subjective call. And it hurts teams. Like, you'll get a stop, and next thing you know, a penalty flag comes out. It's fourth down. They get an automatic first down because you hit the quarterback low. Like, that's one of the rules that actually sucks in the game, right? You absolutely protect the quarterback. I understand. I get it. But think about this as a defender. You can't hit a quarterback high because of the head. You can't hit him low. You can only hit between this strike zone to right here. That's all you can hit when it comes to a quarterback, right? So that's one rule that sucks. It's subjective. Depends on what they're going to call, how that certain referee sees it. Now, talking about just pass interference, right? Now, that's such a hard rule because that really favors the receiver, right? In the DB, you only get 5 yards. Sometimes they still call holding within the 5-yard threshold, even if you're pressing really tough, right? So that's a rule that's not in favor of the defense, And sometimes you could be playing great coverage. Next thing you know, the receiver will jump into you, and it'll cause a flag in favor of the offense. So that's another rule that makes it tough. And DB, you could be playing excellent coverage. You still should have the same right to the football that the offensive player does. That's not always the case, depending on who's refereeing, how they're calling the game. Another subjective rule. Now you add this rule in, it's just like, again, what do you want the defenders to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can only do so much. So it's like, if a guy's in front of you, and you're trying to slow him down, how are you supposed to tackle him? You supposed to dive at his legs? You're supposed to go for his feet? How are you supposed to really tackle? And like I said, when you come in at full speed like that, it makes it tough because, again, you're trying to slow somebody down. So it's like, naturally, you're going to grab at that position. You can't hit him in the head. So it's like, what else do you want defense from behind going to do? And I think a lot of times you're going to see more 15-yard penalties, right? And you're also going to see players probably letting more guys score, And I really can't blame them. This rule is not beneficial at all for the defense. So when I look at everything and I evaluate, right, game is changing. But at the same time, like, the NFL has to do a better job of looking out for the defense, right? And that also goes to the NFLPA. They have to get to a point. This game has become so offensive that the defense almost stands no chance. It's like they want to see 40-point games, 30-plus point games every year. Now, I understand to a certain degree why they're doing that. I understand they want to sell more tickets. They want to increase revenue. They want to make a more exciting game. I get it. 100%. Listen to me. I get it. But at the same time, guys, it goes to that old axiom, right? Defense wins championships, right? Doesn't matter what kind of quarterback you got. If you got a Patrick Mahomes, a Lamar Jackson, a Josh Allen, a Joe Burrow, right? If your defense can't get the stop to get the ball back to the offense, it doesn't matter. So when you have rules like this, it makes that impossible. So at the end of the day, again, it's hurting the game, right? And I think the NFLPA, they need to come together and they need to start talking about more implementation of rules to help the defense. Again, y'all, the players got to understand the power that they have. And the power that they have, y'all, is that without them, there is no game. There is no football, right? We don't love the sport without the players being in it. So these players determine and have a lot of power on how this is going to go, right? In the negotiating table, right? In the bargaining agreements, they have all the power to do that. So if I'm a player, if I'm a defensive player, I'm fighting for the right to have more rules to help us out. Because at a certain point, you come to a game, it's not going to be any defense, right? And who wants to see that? It's like, oh, man, well, the Chiefs won 45-42. No one wants to see that. Like, that's great offense. Mahomes went off, great. But at the same time, it's nothing beats a defensive team coming in, number one ranked against the number one offense, and being able to go and shut them down. We don't see those kind of stories no more. And I remember growing up in a game, that's what we used to live for, the big hits, shutting teams down. That's what we used to love to see. But now I know the game has changed. But hopefully, man, NFLPA, the defense, they got to do something, man, because I think you're just making it incredibly hard for the defense to really stop the offense. And there's so many rules that are in the favor of the offense. But I want to hear y'all comments, man. Comment down below. What do you think of this new rule change?